Hello, I'm Andy Hawbaker, licensed realtor in Northern Colorado with Coldwell Banker Realty. And I want to answer a quick question that I get all the time. I've been hearing about this for months about the market crash. When's the market going to crash? When are prices going to drop by 30%? All these crazy things that people have been saying for months. Well, before we do anything, let's dive in, look at the actual data of what's going on. I'm filming this in December 2022. The most recent data is from last week in November 2022. We'll look at the median sales price for all the Northern Colorado cities, and then we'll talk about what this means. So let's dive into that. Okay, the median home sales price for November of 2022 in Fort Collins, Colorado was $522,500. That is actually up 6.1% from 1 year ago, from last November. Now, we're down a little bit from last month, but we would expect that because it's December. Usually December is the lowest point of the cycle throughout the year with seasonality. So we're down from last month, but we're still 6% above a year ago. So prices have not dropped. We have not lost the value of our homes here in Northern Colorado. In Loveland, the median sales price last month was $469,650. That is still up. It's 1.9% from a year ago, so not quite as good in Loveland. But there's a lot of factors with that. But the main point here is that home prices are up year over year. Okay, so now let's look at our Weld County cities. Windsor had a median home sales price of $640,000. That's actually up 17.4% from last November. So home prices are still skyrocketing in Windsor. In Greeley, it was $407,340. That is also up 4.4% from last year. So you can see all four major cities in Northern Colorado are actually seeing that home prices are holding steady. They have not dropped. They're still up from where they were 1 year ago. So, obviously, what does this mean is pretty simple. Home prices in Northern Colorado are holding steady. Now, what we've seen is that up and up and up 20% each month increases, or 20% year over year, was probably not going to stay forever, but we are seeing that the home prices are increasing. And I really don't see any scenario where home prices will make a major fall. So if you're a homeowner and you're thinking about putting your house on the market, you're going to sell your house now and still have all that appreciation that we've had over the last 3 or 4 years. And you'll take advantage of that. You're really not going to lose a bunch of money. Plus, I think if you've got started now, listed your house in January, February, March of 2023, home prices, I think, are going to go up. If you are a home buyer, the point here is there's nothing to sit and wait for. If you're waiting for prices to fall so you can pick up a deal, that isn't going to happen. I'll show you a slide here in a second that's going to go over all the reasons that there is not going to be a crash. So anyways, if you have questions about this, reach out to me. I'm happy to discuss this with you. You can always call or text me at 970-203-5066. You can always hit me up at my website, which is andyhawbaker.com. Okay, first let's dive into this last slide that I've got here, and that is why there is no crash. There is not going to be a crash because demand is still high. People still want to live in Northern Colorado. They're still moving from out of state. And there's jobs in this area. There's things that bring people to the area. The college is strong. The two universities in Northern Colorado are doing well. New employers are moving to the area. The Amazon plant is going to add 1,000 jobs. There's a lot of stuff going on in Northern Colorado, so that demand is still really high. Inventory is at record lows, as we've seen really since the pandemic hit in 2020, really in 2021. The inventory was so low, there's no houses to get. So what's going to happen, in my opinion, is springs are going to hit, rates are going to be a little bit lower, and people are going to go nuts again, and we're going to have the same frenzy that we had last year. So now, in my opinion, is actually the best time to buy a house. Okay, number 3 on this list is interest rates have already started to improve. So this week we're at about 6.5. Rates got up over 7%. Today you could get a rate at 6.5, maybe just a little bit below that. So I think that's going to settle in probably in the 5s, hopefully in January, February, and things are going to get crazy again. So Keep an eye out for that. And then there is the growing demand of millennials. I talked about how there's still so much demand for these homes. Well, the primary age to buy a home is 32 years old. More people turn 32 years old than ever in the history of the United States this year. And that will be beat next year. And that number will be beat the following year. My point here is that there is a huge amount of new home buyers entering the market and there's no inventory. So prices are not going to drop. New homes are not being built as fast as they need to be. Really, since the crash in 2009, home builders have not been building at the pace that new homes are being developed. New home families are being developed. So that's way behind, 13 years behind on that. Okay, so, and then homeowners have so much equity in their home. We saw in 2008, 2009, that crash was caused by lending, but homeowners have so much equity in their house, there would be no reason to have a foreclosure. They could sell their house at a profit and move on to something else or get into a lower payment or whatever they need to do, but they're not going to let their house go up for foreclosure. That it was a totally different situation at that time that caused the problems that we had. Okay, and then employment rates are still strong. People are not unemployed. There is work. I've mentioned Amazon's coming. There's other big employers coming to town. There is jobs in the area, so that is a big driver for people being able to buy homes. And then the last one here, number 8. Historically, home prices rise during and after a recession. So all this talk that there's going to be a recession and that scares people into thinking, I don't need to do anything. If you look at every recession over the last 60 years, with the one exception of 2008, 2009, every other recession, home prices went up during the recession and immediately after the recession. And in 2009, I could get into a whole video about that, and probably I will. But there wasn't all those things up above on this list going on. It was kind of the opposite situation. And that's why home prices did fall. In Colorado, it was actually almost unseen. It was maybe a 2%. And within 18 months, home prices were up above where they were before. So in most cases, people didn't even notice that the prices had gone down. So if that were to happen, if a recession, I wouldn't be concerned about that at all. I would think that's going to be a positive thing. Real estate always pulls us out of a recession because the rates will drop and it'll be easier to buy homes again. So that is, in a nutshell, in a long 8-minute nutshell, everything that is going on in Northern Colorado real estate as far as home prices. We looked at the median price for Fort Collins, Loveland, Windsor, and Greeley. If you have any questions about this, you can always reach me at my website, which is andyhawbaker.com. Talk to you soon.